Esther you call an Esther. Now, everybody in town is going to know about this. There's a Sanford and Son episode that most people have never actually seen. Not the real version anyway. TV networks have been quietly editing it for 50 years. They blur mouths. They cut scenes. They even fade to black early. Red Fox knew this would happen, but he filmed it anyway. He said only he could deliver that line. The original cast members kept the secret until now. What they're revealing about that forbidden scene will shock you, and it explains why Sanford and Son was never quite the same after that night. No one ever talks about it, but Sanford and Son wasn't born in South Central Los Angeles. Came from a small place in London called Shepherd's Bush. Back in the early 1960s, the British show Sanford and Son was pulling in 28 million viewers every week. That was more than half the people in Britain. An American producer named Joseph E. Levine saw the numbers and bought the rights in 1965. First, it wasn't even supposed to be a black show. The American version was written about white Italian-American junk dealers. Their names were Albert and Tony Serraniano. Executives thought a blacklist show wouldn't survive on primetime TV. But things changed in 1971 when NBC took another look. Bud Yakin, one of the producers, told his writers to take a risk. He said, set it in South Central LA and give it black leads. Norman Lear backed him up and said Archie Bunker needed a black counterpart. That one change, swapping two white scrap men for Fred and Lamont Sanford, did more than flip the script. It broke TV open for shows like Good Times and The Jeffersons, all because someone said yes to a junk dealer with a pickup truck instead of a horse cart. Meanwhile, CBS was riding high. All in the Family had just hit #1. NBC was stuck in third place. Norman Lear couldn't pitch anything new to CBS because of his contract. So he teamed up with Bud Yakin again, but this time in secret. He told Yakin, put Fred Sanford opposite Archie Bunker and you'll get a coast-to-coast shouting match. NBC jumped fast. President Herb Schloer read the script and greenlit 13 episodes. Just 4 hours later, it was August 17, 1971 when Sanford and Son premiered on January 14, 1972. It hit number 6 in the Nielsen ratings in its first week, pulled 21% of Archie Bunker's audience away. That one move helped NBC crawl back into the fight and proved that honest, working-class comedies could live on both coasts. But here's what almost killed the show before it even started. In April 1965, Joseph E. Levine had already tried to launch Sanford and Son in the U.S. He cast Oscar nominee Lee Tracy and tough guy actor Aldo Ray as father and son. He spent $185,000 on a 30-minute pilot filmed at Dis Sol, Kahena. He showed it to ABC and CBS. They both said no. One called the junkyard set too dingy for color TV. And because Levine still held the U.S. rights, no one else could touch the format for 6.5 years. The contract finally ended in December 1971. Within 3 weeks, Yakin and Lear bought the rights again for $40,000. That fall, they filmed the version we all know. So for almost a decade, one bad black and white pilot kept one of the biggest sitcoms in TV history sitting in a drawer. Even Red Fox almost didn't make it. NBC first wanted Broadway actor Calvin Little. He had just starred in Pearly. They offered him the script in May 1971. He read it and said, "It's funny, but I can't spend 6 years calling my son dummy." So he passed. That's when Yorkin saw Red Fox doing a short scene in Cotton Comes to Harlem. Fox shouted, "Give me my money, turkey," and the crowd went wild. That was it. On June 12, 1971, Red Fox signed the deal. He got $4,500 per episode. That was half what Archie Bunker made. But Foxx also kept the rights to all his old Vegas routines. Calvin Little later said in a Jet interview that he kicked himself every Friday night at 8 because Red's catchphrases ended up making $30 million in syndication. One actor said no. That left room for a 50-year-old comic from the Chitlin circuit to change the sound of American TV. CBS had the first shot to buy it. Lear and Yakin gave them the pilot on October 4, 1971. Same network as All in the Family. Fred Silverman, who ran scheduling, said he didn't even want to watch one Lear. Powder keg is enough, he told them. York offered to do a live read. CBS still said no. They spent nothing, not even 30 minutes. 3 days later, two NBC executives, Herb Schloer and Mort Werner, flew to Burbank. They watched Foxx and Demon Wilson do 2 scenes live. In 15 minutes they shook hands and ordered 13 episodes. NBC paid $25,000 for the script. That was it. No pilot. Reshoot. That decision led to 136 episodes across 6 seasons. By 1975 it was NBC's biggest cash cow. CBS later estimated they lost $300 million in syndication profits, all because they wouldn't take half an hour for a junkyard comedy. When the show aired on January 14, 1972, nobody knew what would happen. NBC put it in the 8 p.m. Friday night slot. The One networks usually gave up on. Sanford and Son became the first primetime series with an almost all-black cast since the 1950s. Executives were scared. Would people watch? Would advertisers walk away? But it exploded. The first week alone, it stole 16% of the Brady Bunch's audience. That hit was so strong ABC ended the Brady Bunch 2 seasons later. Civil rights leaders praised it. Variety magazine wrote that NBC had just integrated America's living rooms. January 14, 1972 became more than a TV date. It became the night a junk dealer broke the color line wide open. The numbers kept climbing. Nielsen thought it would